Hey folks, good morning. Good Monday morning, May the 4th, and it is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Get it? No? I like it. Today would be one of the most popular days to go to the new Star Wars land at Hollywood Studios, but it's not happening. So here we are today on May the 4th. It's a good day. I think, wasn't Angela,
Yeah.
wasn't Lily,
She's due on the 4th.
she was due, yeah. Her Lily's,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, she was due on the 4th.
Yeah, Lily's due date when she was born was,
That's Owen's due date. We got him confused.
Was it Owen?
Owen's due date, because they were both early.
that's right. All
Lily
right.
wasn't due till the 22nd.
Okay. Yeah, because she came really early. All right. So Owen's due date.
Owen came earlier.
Owen's due date was May the 4th, and he ended up coming April 15th. So,
His name's Owen.
yeah, and so that was one of the things we tried to have a Star Wars name. I wanted to have a Star Wars name for our son who was to be born on May the 4th, and it was yeah, I got it. Angela didn't know this, but some of you who know Star Wars, Owen is in Episode 4 because that's who Luke grew up with, essentially. Because Luke is Darth Vader's son. You don't care. That's fine. We have Owen. We have a Star Wars name. It was due on May the 4th.
His
So.
sister's birthday.
Oh, very good. I see that. Very nice. Yeah, May the 4th. It's a good day. Good day. All right. Well, I'm starting to run low on some jokes, or at least ones that are worth are worth telling, and cleaning and clean, not clean, but clean. So, but yeah. So May the 4th. That's our joke today, and the fact that Angela said no Star Wars name, but I still got it. So there we go. Okay, good to be with you. Good to be with you yesterday for morning service. Little addition. It was nice to have Angela's uncle Tim and her cousin Megan from Ohio. Tim is the worship leader. Shares the duties of the worship leader at their church, at where they are, and we were able to snag some of their videos. They pre-record everything, sermon, everything. They pre-record it all and then just stitch it together in a video and play it on a Sunday. So he was nice enough to send me a couple of videos, and know that we're working on opening up that transition to when we get back, what that's going to look like. I'm going to have a little powwow with some leaders later on and put plans together on how we do that properly. Today is also the day that Florida begins to open up on a few things. I imagine that some restaurants are thrilled out of their mind to even allow 25% capacity back in those places, and then other businesses are chomping at the bit. I think we need to be cautious. We need to be careful. Hey, buddy. He's all right. Go see Mama. I know, he's funny. He's fine. We need to be cautious and continue to do that, especially with our vulnerable population. Hey, everybody who's hopping on, good morning. We need to be especially cautious with our vulnerable population, and we have a number of those at our church. I was just talking with my mom yesterday. My mom is considered a vulnerable person. She has Crohn's disease. She's on medication that lowers her immune system. She's more susceptible to diseases and viruses and things like that. So it's important that we take caution and we take care, but also that we don't live in fear at the same time. So we're going to continue moving forward on all that's going to be taking place. with caution, but at the same time being smart and knowing that we need to get this thing back in gear, right? So, all right. Well, today we're going to talk about a thing that I'm not a huge fan of talking about, but I think we need to every once in a while. We're going to talk about obedience. Obedience. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 33. Follow all the directions the Lord your God has given you. Life will go well for you. Let me read that again. Follow all the directions the Lord your God has given you. Life will go well for you. You know there's a link between faith and obedience. There's a link there. When you trust someone, you do what they say. Do you ever think about that? You ever think about that? When you trust someone, you're more apt to do what they say or what they ask you to do. If you don't do what someone tells you, it means you don't really trust them. In the Bible, God links faith and obedience over and over and over and over again. The promises of God are conditioned on your following the directions that He gives you. That's an interesting thought. God has made some incredible, specific promises in His Word, and a lot of them are about obedience. They're about obedience. In fact, there's I looked through some, and there's just so many. I can't list them all, but let me just share a few with you. Are you ready? Proverbs 16:20. God blesses those who obey Him. Psalms 7:10. He saves those who obey Him. Psalm 33. The Lord watches over those who obey Him. Psalm 37. The Lord takes care of those who obey Him. 1 John 3:22. God gives us what we ask because we obey God's commands. Proverbs 28. Always obey the Lord and you will be happy. Proverbs 19. Keep God's law and you will live longer. Now, some of those are out of different translations, the Living Bible, the Good News, things like that. But here's the last one. Those who obey Him have all they need. Those who obey the Lord lack nothing. Psalm 34, 9 through 10. That's just a short list of the promises of God. And I believe if we follow God's directions, if we follow His plan for our lives, if we obey Him, we're going to be blessed. And we'll just, according to this list, let me just read you what this list. If you obey Him, you'll be blessed, saved, watched over, taken care of, given what you ask for, happy, you'll live longer, and lack nothing. That's a pretty good list. That's a pretty good list. Obedience is often the premise behind all of God's promises. God gives us His promises not because we deserve them, but because He loves us. God gives us promises through His grace. But we get to enjoy His promises when we follow His instructions. Sometimes we understand God's instructions, and it's fairly easy to follow those, but and sometimes we don't. And that's often where we need to obey whether we understand or not. And that's a difficult thing to do. That's hard. It's hard to really decipher and understand what God's instructions are when we don't hear it clearly, or when we just plain don't understand it. Some of God's commands sometimes sound confusing, even unfair at times. The reason why they sound unfair is because we're stuck in the mode of this world's culture rather than being a part of His kingdom culture. One of the things the Bible asks us to do is to give back to Him 10% of what we earn. That can be very, very difficult. But folks, you will be blessed. It is a blessing to give. It says that when people do evil to you, we're supposed to do what? We're supposed to do what? We're to do good back to them. That just does not make sense in this world that we live in. Things do not make sense from our cultural standpoint. That's why we need to adapt to His kingdom culture. When we get into His kingdom culture, we'll talk about that later, but when we get into His kingdom culture, these things begin to make sense. They begin to fit. We begin to understand those things. He wants us to trust, and He wants us to obey. Obedience is hard, especially when we don't understand. but obedience is key to unlocking God's promises. If you want to enjoy God's promises, obedience is that key. Choose to follow his directions and his promises. His promises come as a reward to obedience to him. That's a tough one. It's tough because, like we said, there are times when we just don't get it. God, why are you asking me to do this? Doesn't make sense. That's okay. That's okay. Just trust me. I can hear God saying, "No, it's all right. I love you. Just trust me." Guys, I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you have a successful day, accomplishing everything that you set your task to. I hope you have the opportunity to share the good news of Jesus with somebody else. And I hope that when you do that, their ears are receptive and you're able to sow good seed on good soil. Folks, know that I love you, that I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. And on this May the 4th, May the 4th be with you. All right. Guys, be blessed. Love y'all. We will see you back here again at 8:30 for a time of hope, prayer, and blessing. And I have another thankful video, so keep it up. If you haven't sent me a thankful video for the evenings, do that. All right. Guys, love y'all. Appreciate you. We will see you again. No Star Wars shirt. Baseball. Baseball's just good, right? All right, guys. Love y'all. Be blessed by him, and at the same time, be a blessing to others. We'll see you again.